Right now, 'tis the season, and maybe it's time for some etiquette tips there, Joe.
Yes, it is wedding season, summer wedding season upon us, and there are a few do's and don'ts when it comes to guest etiquette. How much should we spend? What should we wear? Can you party too much? I think we all know the answer to that question. And to help us answer all of these, we've asked one of our favorites, gentleman John Holt. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you as well.
This is a great topic because things do evolve, don't they, in the
They
conventions
do.
and how you should behave.
Yes, and it's changing so rapidly as well. So.
And how people are tying the knot. Okay,
Exactly.
well, let's get into gifts, because I think the #1 question that we all have, most couples now ask for money. So how do couples do that if they don't want to go off a registry?
Well, the best thing to do is to include that in the invitation, and just a subtle mention. But the other way I like better is to get the maid of honor and some of the people in the wedding party to sort of spread the word around, like rather than sort of white envelope in the bottom corner. I always think it's nicer to just have the wedding party spread the news to the guests.
So on the invite, if you choose, you can say white envelope only, which
yes.
means cash. But then you have others advocating for you.
I wouldn't use the word only, because if there's an aunt who's a famous painter, what would you rather have? You know, like some people.
Right.
Any guest suggestions, even if it's registry, they're just they're suggestions. They're not absolutes.
Yes. Okay, and that's the way to do it graciously. So how closely should guests stay to the registry?
Well, again, it's a suggestion, but I recommend using the registry because it's simple, if you'd like, and the key there is to get in there early.
Right.
As soon as you get that invitation, start looking, because then there's a much wider range of prices, and you can get something that matters more to you, really.
Okay, and what are the rules when it comes to spending on gifts or in the white envelope? What are the rules there?
Oh, that's so contentious. But generally speaking, if you're just a guest, you might be sort of in the $50 to $100 range.
Okay.
And if you're a close friend, you might be in the sort of $100 to $150 range. And then family members move up into the $200 range. That's sort of just a general idea.
Okay, I've heard the rule is however much it is per plate at dinner.
Right.
And then you use that as your landmark.
Yes, and that doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Partially because if you have a very simple backyard barbecue, what do you give them, $7, right?
Exactly.
So you can't punish a couple just because they're doing something simple.
Okay, good rules. How about what to wear? There is a rule around guests wearing white.
Oh, yes, and that's the 30% rule, or 1/3 if you want to stretch it. And that 1/3 applies to white. So in other words, if a gentleman wears a white shirt, he's got a jacket covering that, 30% of the white can only be showing. And the same with the lady if she wears a nice white shawl, as long as the dress is a different color. As long as 30% or less than 30% is white, you're fine. That goes with vanilla, cream, the wedding colors.
Okay, so then you're not upstaging the bride,
Correct.
who should be the only one in 100% white.
Correct. And the other thing I like to mention about clothing is watch what you wear as a guest. If it's an outdoor wedding, you don't want to wear high-heeled shoes, particularly spiky, because you've got problems in lawns, etc.
Okay.
Right? So be careful.
Are there other rules when it comes to attire? I mean, you should be respectable.
Well, you should be respectable, and it's the invitation that indicates what the attire is. If it's formal Victorian script on a thick cardstock, you know that you're going to be wearing a jacket and tie. But if it's on a denim print with almost cross-stitched letters in it, you know it's very casual.
Right.
So you've got that invitation is going to give you a lot of ideas of what's going to happen that night.
Then you're getting married at Stampede, and it's a Western
Exactly.
theme. Okay, how about drinking? What do you say for limits that way?
Well, that's another contentious issue, because is it a cash bar, is it not? Generally speaking, I like to suggest that there's a minimum drink. So say it's a two drinks on the wedding couple, and then a cash bar after that. And you can use the drink driving rules now, which are really important, sort of as to gauge that, so it doesn't make it look like you're just being cheap. It makes you look like you're being responsible.
Got it.
Yes, and the other key with that is you are responsible for the person you bring. So if the person you bring starts to get out of control, that's your responsibility.
Right. Gentleman John has all the answers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And happy wedding season
Happy
to
weddings.
you. Hopefully you can follow all of the rules. Mike Yanni following the rules when it comes to Fiesta Val this morning.